Give old Flipper a rest.
This is Umar for BoxNation. I'm at the HQ of Frank Warren. I'm joined by Frank Warren himself. I've just been actually joined by Moses Itauma in the office as well. We'll come on to Moses in due course. But Frank, been a bit of a while since I caught up with you. How's life?
Good, yeah. I mean, good. We've sort of hit the ground running in the first quarter of this year, and we got some really good fights lined up here, and obviously the big show in Riyadh on the 22nd. Riyadh season show out there. That's going to be magnificent. One brilliant card, which I think there's going to be a few surprises for people on that.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
No, just I'm talking about as far as how the fights will go.
Okay. Well, before that press conference, we had the Ring Magazine awards, the first one.
Yeah.
In London. I was away for that. So just tell me how that was, Frank.
Oh, it's magnificent. Beautiful building, Greenwich, absolutely beautiful. Naval College, absolutely stunning setting for it. And it was magnificent. The Ring Magazine, what they laid on with the food and hospitality was just great. And the room, full of icons of boxing from all around the world. It was great. Lovely evening.
I'm sure you agreed with knockout of the year for Daniel Dubois.
I did. I agreed with that. Yeah, it was a good knockout. But it was, the awards were good. They sort of covered nearly everybody from around, different places around the world. So everybody got a look in, and people getting nominated, some really good nominations. It weren't just the winners; the people who got nominated as well. It was fabulous.
Oleksandr Usyk cleaned up there with 3 awards. No disputing with that, Frank?
No, I think the fact he won, you look at it's the biggest heavyweight fight, the 2 biggest heavyweight fights of the 21st century. He got the decisions from the judges on those fights, and he deserved to be, for the most, as it was such an important fight, he deserved that award, that accolade.
I know you were sat next to him at the dinner. Did he say anything to you about what his plans are for the future? Maybe fighting Usyk, fighting the winner of Dubois-Parker?
Yeah, we were talking. Yeah, I'm really interested in this fight taking place between, with Daniel and Joe Parker on the 22nd. It's going to be interesting.
What did he say about it, Dubois-Parker?
He said I mentioned about the rematch with Daniel, but Daniel's obviously got a tough fight first, and he said he was up for that.
That's good. Music to our ears.
So, we're going to put those plans. His Excellency said, was it 4 fights he wanted to see, and one of them was Moses against Usyk. And I told him on the night, I said, we're going to ruin that for you. Going to ruin it.
Well, let's
down the road. It'll be maybe Moses against Daniel. We'll see.
Let's go through the 4 fights. So the first fight was Canelo Crawford. Fury Joshua was the other one. Of course, that's pending Tyson's situation, who's currently retired. Usyk v Itauma, and also Inoue v Bull. Those were the 4 fights. So your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that is that it just shows you how strong Queensberry are. Out of 4 fights, 3 of them involved guys who fight for Queensberry, or 2 of them do at the moment. One's retired in Tyson. That says a lot about us, and there's fights there. I love them. I love Nick Bull against Inoue. I love that fight. I really want that to happen at the end of the year. I think that's a great fight. And obviously everyone's got to keep winning. Moses, we just spoke about. Moses, he's looking for a big year. And if Tyson comes back, I don't believe he will. I think he's retired, and that's his decision. But that was obviously a fight a lot of people looking forward to.
Has the value of that fight gone down, though, with him, with
I
Joshua?
don't think it's about the value. I think people will go and watch it and see it. It's one of those fights. They want to see it. It's a bit like a lot of people want to see Ben against Eubanks. It's not for any big title, but people will buy into it. They will buy into it, and I'm going to be very biased. I mean, I've got guys that have beat both of them.
Who are they?
Hamza and Denzel.
Okay. In terms of Daniel Dubois, standout year from obviously in 2024, got an award as well on that night. You can reassure me as his promoter, he is not overlooking Joseph Parker.
Not at all. Not at all. He found his voice as far as promoting himself is concerned, but he's not overlooking that. He's asked questions, he says how he feels, and he has changed a lot. He's more confident publicly, but no, everybody's focused on it. He's got a tough fight. Joe Parker's no schmuck. He's a former world champion. He's on a roll. He's up for this fight. He fancies this fight. He wasn't signed up for it otherwise. He's not an opponent. He's a guy who thinks he can win the fight, and the same as Daniel thinks he can defend his title successfully. It's a great fight.
When I spoke to Daniel Dubois at his house a couple of weeks ago, he said 3 rounds he'll finish Joseph Parker in.
If he catches anybody, if he catches them right, they'll go.
To be fair, it is good to see this new side of Daniel. It's quite a breath of fresh air, I'd say.
Yeah, it's good to see him confident. But what I'm more pleased what he's done in the ring. I mean, for you as a journalist, I suppose in the public and so forth, that they want to hear more from him and so forth.
They've come in hand a bit though, haven't they?
Yeah, it has. It's happened. I think the fight he had against Usyk was a career-defining moment for him. I think he knows what he could have done in the fight. He got absolutely distracted by the referee and so forth. But anyway, we talked about that a million times. But since that fight, he's changed in a big way. In a big way. He's always had the power there and the boxing ability. But he's with Don Charles as well now, and Don and him have got a good rapport. Brought some other people on the team, but he believes he's the best out there. I mean, it's not nonsense. With Daniel, you get what you see is what you get. He says how it is.
And when he walks into the room now, you feel that presence. When a Fury walks in or a Joshua walks in, you get that now with Daniel Dubois.
Of course you do, because he's a big man, he's a powerful man, and he's done the job. All these fights we talked about, he went in as the underdog, every single one of them. And these last 3, he stopped them all in style. Stopped them in style, powerful knockouts. And this fight coming up with Joe, he's actually going in. It's the first fight he's had in these last 4 fights, so he's gone in as a favourite.
How does the fight play out in your mind between Dubois and Parker?
If Daniel does what he's done in his last couple of fights, and he gets behind that jab, lot of head movement, I think Joe's going to have a problem. But Joe's a good fighter. Joe, as I've said, I'm repeating myself, he's been there, he's done it. I mean, all the sparring that he's had over the years, top class sparring with everybody, a lot with Tyson. So it's going to be for Daniel, it's going to be another test for him. And
under Andy Lee, I mean, we've seen the run Daniel's had, but under Andy Lee, Joseph Parker's been on a tremendous run.
Absolutely. No, Andy's a good trainer. Andy fancies it. We did a little face-off around the table and that, and Andy was really quite vociferous about what he was going to do. But we'll see.
We shall see. I think you're getting the best version of Dubois and best version of Parker at this stage.
That's a fact. That is a fact. Yeah. There'll be no excuses about that.
In terms of what we said about Moses, very, very strange circumstances and a massive compliment to himself that we're talking about someone who's just turned 20 years old, a professional novice still, challenging the best heavyweight in the world. But look, His Excellency just wants to make the best fights. And, pending what happens in Dubois-Parker, the winner fights Usyk. I think what His Excellency's saying there is that he sees Moses as the next guy, really.
Well, a lot of people do. He's been voted that, hasn't he, by a lot of publications, websites, newspapers. Lots of people are saying the same thing, and they've seen it. People see what's in front of them. They've seen what the power that he's got and the way he's won his last few fights, or won all his fights, but certainly the maturity he's shown in his last couple of fights, the way he's gone about his business. He's a handful. He's a real handful, and it is a compliment that you say is that AG has talked about him in the same bracket as Usyk. But it won't happen till, if it was going to happen, there's a little way to go yet.
No surprise to you, he won the Young Fight of the Year. Easy award, wasn't it?
He was, yeah. And deservedly so.
Let me give you a scenario then. Whoever's left out of Daniel, Joe, or Usyk, come December, maybe early 2026, would you put Moses in with them?
See how he looks. I want to see what he's like in his next few fights. We'll see where we go with it. But yeah, he's a fighter. He's a kid who wants to go. Well, he's a man. He wants to go places. As you say, he only turned 20, was it, a couple of weeks ago? But he's in a rush, and but he's bloody looking good. Everything he's done has been great. And look at the other heavyweights that are around who are with us. I mean, it's fabulous. Just brilliant time for heavyweight boxing, no doubt about it.
Your son Francis, who manages Moses, in today. Moses was in today. When do we expect news on Moses' next fight?
I would think it's pretty imminent.
Okay. There were some names touted around. You could just comment about them. Justice Hooney, Francis, your son, mentioned. Filip Pergovic was also mentioned. Kubrat Pulev's been mentioned. So is that kind of the caliber we're looking at?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic stuff. In terms of Tyson, it's been a couple of weeks now since he posted that video and announced his retirement. How many conversations have you had with him?
I've had a couple, but I've not spoke about boxing to him. I just spoke to him, how are you, what's happening, and just a general chat.
Does he seem okay?
Marvellous, yeah. He seemed very, very happy, and he should be. He's made a decision, and he's happy with that decision, and spending time. In fact, when the last time I spoke, he was in the car with all the kids. And he's happy. He seemed very, very happy where he was.
Some people believe he's retired. Others in the media, boxing fans, just believe it's a negotiating tactic.
What's he need to negotiate? He's had 2 fights with Usyk, which were whatever you feel who won it and lost or whatever. Facts were they were close fights. The 2 best heavyweights of the 21st century in with each other in the best heavyweight fights of the 21st century. What does he need? I mean, with the greatest respect to AJ, I mean, he got convincingly beaten by Daniel in his last fight.
Well, I guess their argument, regardless of that, if you take yourself away from the sport, your price goes up because you need to get someone to pull you back in.
He's got more money than... He's worth a lot of money. He's made a lot of money. He's been in a great position, especially with the Riyadh season and so forth. He's made a fortune. And God bless him, it's in the bank. He doesn't need to fight for money at all. He doesn't need to do that. If he wanted to fight, he wouldn't be fighting for money, that's for sure.
If this is it, you've had some amazing stories, Ricky Hatton, Naz, Calzaghe. Where does the Tyson Fury story for you rank?
Number 1. I look where he's come from, when he was 11 stone overweight, huge, boozing, messing about with some substances, depression, suicidal. And what he come back from to what he did, and look at the fights he's had. What he's done in the ring has been magnificent. I mean, you look at those brutal fights that he had with. Or 2 brutal fights he had with Wilder, but the 2 great fights he had with Usyk. He's been brilliant. He's been brilliant for British boxing. Shown amazing courage. He's been great. And you left other fighters off like Joe Calzaghe and.
I mentioned Calzaghe.
Oh, did you? Sorry,
yeah. I said Calzaghe, Naz, and Hatton. Right. You've got plenty more, but
yeah. There are plenty more, but he's done it, and he's done it in the other guys' backyards twice. Beating Klitschko and so forth.
And where does he rank in terms of best ever British fighters?
Best what?
Ever British fighters.
I think he's right up there, isn't he? Right up there. It'd be very debatable if he's not number 1.
Calzaghe and Lennox and him. There's the top 3.
Yeah, Lennox, great. Can you imagine hearing Lennox? That would have been a good fight, wouldn't it? Been a great fight. I'd love to have seen that. And Joe Calzaghe, he was undefeated. Nobody could get the better of him. He was undefeated. He was a great fighter, an unbelievable fighter.
Okay, you took a bit of offence to what Simon Jordan said about that Fury wasn't at the level when he fought Usyk. At that level, he said.
But I didn't understand what he was making by that. What level was that? I mean, it was nothing. There was nothing in the fight. It was a close fight. There was nothing in it, and I don't get where he's at. I mean, he's from that point of view, all he's done is he seems to denigrate him. He come up with some stuff again about, Tyson said he's a midget and he's this and that. Look, he come up from like the weights. He come through the weights, Usyk, but so did David Haye. So did Holyfield. They all came through the weights, but they're heavyweights. He's been a heavyweight for 4 years. And he said, but it's Tyson who said it. I said, well, Tyson says lots of things, but I look at after that fight, look at Tyson in the arena. First, they're hugging each other, they're kissing each other, they're showing great respect to each other. And like I said to him, I said, what it pisses me off. He does not seem to understand that having bipolar is a medical condition. It's a medical condition. You say things, you do things, and that's it. That's what it is. But he doesn't take any of that into consideration. It's just like it doesn't exist, and it doesn't fit his narrative.
What is that narrative?
Well, he doesn't like him, does he? Doesn't like Tyson. Doesn't like him, and that's it. But that's his choice. He doesn't like him. How come Tyson don't like him? That's how it is. But to say, when you look at Tyson, how he's performed in the ring and the fights he's had, breaking box office records, sold out Wembley, 400,000 people in line to buy tickets, fastest selling event, biggest event at the time. When he fought Wilder in Vegas, it was the highest grossing ever heavyweight event. 2 sold out books, 2 #1 books, Netflix series. Some people must like him. He can't get that in his head.
And what about you and Simon?
What about me?
Yeah, do you get on with him or?
I talk to him. I obviously don't agree with that, and I'll take issue with that because he's wrong. Whether he's not right about everything. He thinks he's right about everything, but he's not right about everything. And maybe he knows more about boxing than I do. I don't know.
Will you invite him to one of your shows?
Yeah, I've no problem with that. I mean, he'd come to one of my shows, sit next to Tyson.
To be fair, he's spoke obviously about the atmosphere in Riyadh shows. He should go to one of them.
Let me ask you a question. You be honest. You've been to every show in Riyadh. What's the atmosphere been like?
I'd say the 2 Fury Usyk fights were better atmospheres than the other Riyadh shows, but they've still been of a good atmosphere. But the 2 Fury Usyk fights in specific, because there was loads of Brits there, lots of Ukrainians, obviously took it up a notch.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's called Riyadh season, to attract people. If you look now and then, Turkey puts an X or tweet, whatever you want to call them these days. He puts it out talking about how many people officially have been to Riyadh season. They come there to see events. That's what it's there for. That's why they put the money up. They put up to bring people to Riyadh to see what it's all about. So of course you get that. It's like, and that's what he's not been there. I've been there. So he can't tell me what the atmosphere is like there because he hasn't been there. You've been there. Everybody has told him what the fight's been like. People who work there, Jim White's been there and told him, but he doesn't want to listen. It doesn't fit what he says.
Well, yeah, there were others on talkSPORT before they had gone to Riyadh, and
all of them
shared the same sentiment.
Adam Catterall, all of them.
They've switched their stance.
Of course they have. Right. What do you want me to say?
Right.
Do you know what? At the end of I couldn't give a toss about what any of them think. Tyson Fury is a friend of mine. Besides the business we've done together, and as a friend, and I respect what he's done in the ring. I respect what he's done in the ring. I respect what he's done for mental health, and standing up and saying that he was bipolar, to actually coming out and saying that he had no need to do that, but he did it, and how and the inspiration he's given to a lot of people who suffer from that.
Right, let's go through some of your other heavyweights. So Mike Coppinger put there are talks ongoing between Lawrence Okolie and Luis Ortiz to make a fight here in the UK. Frank, what can you tell me about that?
Not a lot. He knows more than I do.
But we'll have some news on Lawrence soon.
Yeah, all the guys are all going to be fighting. They're all going to be out soon. I mean, we're blessed with heavyweights, great heavyweights, and fabulous fighters. And Lawrence well and truly announced himself in the heavyweight division last time out in a big way.
definitely. Fabio Wardleye news again soon, yeah?
Yeah, and again, in a big fight, I'm looking forward to seeing Fabio out. He's a lovely guy, really nice person, he's a great ambassador for British boxing, and I'm looking forward again to him being in a big fight in a big venue.
Sure, the same with David Adeleye.
Never know, do you? David, again, it shows you about, it's not about when you lose a fight. It's about, can you overcome that and come back and show what you're all about? And he did that in his last fight in a big way. Nobody expected that. And he's done it in a devastating fashion. He's put himself well and truly back in the picture.
Well, a fight that's fastly approaching in the heavyweight division in Manchester on Feb 8th is Derek Chisora v Otto-Wallin. How are tickets going for that, Frank?
We've done well. I think we're up to something. I'm not sure. It's like last time it told me a week ago. I think we're well over, I think we're nearly up to 13,000. So that's great. It's brilliant. And, for Derek, his 49th fight and proved me wrong. I'm the guy who told him he should retire. And he's in a tough fight. It's a tough fight for him. But he wants to get to 50 fights. So we'll see what happens with this one.
But that's good. It will be packed in there because...
and the undercard. What a good undercard.
Fantastic undercard, yeah. But for Derek, I mean, this is a special night for him. Manchester, apart from London, has been a big kind of city for him in his career. And to have his 49th fight there and the crowd and the atmosphere.
I'll tell you, the venue is superb. That Carp Arena is a superb arena. It's probably the best arena in London. Best arena in Europe.
Yeah. As you said though, Otto-Wallin, tricky southpaw. If Derek gets through this, then hats off to him. Truly.
Then he's up for the big 5-0.
Yeah. Okay. As you mentioned, a strong undercard there. So a big night on Feb 8 for Manchester for yourselves.
Yeah. Our guys coming out. Some guys. Got to re-establish themselves in real quality 50-50 matches, competitive fights, and some of our youngsters come through. And this year is going to be a big year for a few of our young fighters who we've invested in. I don't just mean money, I mean investing in them in their careers and helping them, bringing them through, working with their various teams, managers and trainers. And you're going to see some good quality young fighters come through. Some really good British boxers are going to firmly establish themselves on the world scene.
Just to close off on heavyweights, Joyce is back out on your South Coast show in March. It's good to see Joe back out. With his manager, Adam Rowley, what is kind of the plan for Joe this year?
Got to win that fight. And then we'll see what happens afterwards. He deserves that, and it's up to him to go out and do the business.
I guess in this division at the moment, especially in the British scene, you're only one win away from a big fight.
You are. I mean, there's no doubt about that, and we've seen it. Joe Parker showed that. Resurrect. Daniel Dubois showed it. It's there to be done. It's funny, like the UFC, guys get beat, and they fight again, and nobody seems to take notice of it. With a boxer, you got to have a perfect record. But very, very, very few of them. We mentioned somebody earlier, and Joe Calzaghe managed to do that.
Yeah, I was lying. There's one more on a heavyweight because you've just signed someone recently, Anthony Joshua's protege.
Yeah.
Want to get the pronunciation right? Adedeji Adegbola. Hopefully that has been said correctly. He signed a professional contract with Queensberry and yourself. So talk to me about this signing, Frank.
We're delighted he's on board. He's with AJ, and as you say, he's his protege, and we'll be working hard with him to hopefully bring him through. If he achieves half of what AJ's done, he can't be bad, can he?
I hadn't really heard about him, on the circuit, etc. So, where did this come from, Frank?
We spoke about it, and then we see some footage, and we like what we see.
So is it Anthony looking after him from a managerial point of view?
It's 258.
258.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is his company.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. Lee Eaton's in the office. What happened with Ben Whittaker and Liam Cameron? What happened with that?
Nothing. We made an offer. We made a big offer for Ben to come and fight, to do the fight. And they made an offer to us, which wasn't enough money.
So it's gone now, that fight, yeah?
At this moment, nothing's happening. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I just thought somewhere or another that fight was going to get done, whether it was on a boxer show, whether it was on a Queensberry
It
show.
goes on the show where the guys can make the most money, doesn't it? That's the show it goes on. Have a purse bid.
So what was the last response you heard from
They didn't want
boxing?
to know. We made him a very, very big
Envelopes on the table?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. I'll ask Lee when I come out of this room. Frank, there was some comments from His Excellency on talkSPORT. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, and I'm not sure how much you can comment on it, but this is what he said. We will start with the US in terms of a league and see what happens there. We are discussing with Queensberry and Matchroom to have a different level of relationship. I cannot say any more. Can you make any sort of comment on what he's saying there?
If he can't say anymore, how can I say anymore?
But a different level of relationship, that just sounds exciting and promising.
Look, boxing's it was the most exciting year last year. Unbelievable. 2023, October, is going to be a game changer, I said. Last year was just the most amazing year for boxing, wasn't it? Great fights and whatever. This year's going to be even better.
Just to close off, there was a tweet I saw your account put out about His Royal Highness Prince William, supporting the BoxWise Foundation, which obviously is a massive interest for yourself as well. Just talk to me about Prince William being involved in this.
Well, what happened was that Prince William went to Centrepoint in Ealing, and that was they obviously look after homeless people, and homelessness is a big thing, terrible thing in this country. And BoxWise, which I'm chairman of, and is an unbelievable charity. It funds courses in lots of gyms throughout the country, including Centrepoint, where the founder, Nick Morn, got the two charities to collaborate together. So BoxWise does their courses at Centrepoint venues, and Prince William went along yesterday to the charity, and it was brilliant for everybody involved, brilliant for the people who were there, seeing that somebody does care about them, brilliant for the fact that it all featured around them having a BoxWise class. And BoxWise is an unbelievable charity. There's another epidemic in this country. COVID, we had a bad one. There's another epidemic in this country. It's called knife crime, and it kills on a regular basis, on a daily basis, and maims. And BoxWise came about to combat and help put courses into gyms around the country where youngsters can go along and learn not to be boxers, not to be professional boxers, but to go on courses where you interact with each other. You learn discipline, you learn to deal with people from different backgrounds and so forth, and to try and stop and help with this knife crime. They go on courses. It's roughly a 10-week course. You get meals, you get food every day. And I'm very proud to be able that I got involved with it. I'm very proud of the people who work on this on a daily basis. They're brilliant people. They're committed. And it was fabulous yesterday that His Royal Highness was there. And he actually shapes up well. Do you see it? I don't know if you see
a picture of him.
Yeah, he shapes up really well. So I've offered him a contract. I said, if you want to give up the day job and come and become a boxer, and I think you could become heir to the heavyweight crown.
Well, there's a few competitors in this stable in the heavyweight division.
Happens, yeah. But he's a lovely man, and it was great that he was there doing what he was doing. And it's, on a serious note, it is important, homelessness, knife crime, two charities working together to combat both of those terrible things that are affecting people, especially youngsters, young people, and giving them some sort of hope and alternative. And I just feel that that should be coming down from a higher level. I don't mean Prince William, I mean he's necessary, but from government level. This knife crime thing is just totally out of hand now. It's out of hand on a daily basis everywhere. And some poor mum and dad are getting terrible news on a daily basis. And, something more needs to be done. And, and it's, I think it's for us, we as as a company and as the personnel in this company, we are so proud to be able to do our little bit to help with BoxWise, because it is an amazing, amazing charity run by amazing people.
Listen, keep up the good work with BoxWise and everyone at BoxWise. I echo that to them as well. Frank, thank you very much for your time. Do you just want to sign us off with something?
Yeah, we need a striker. We need a striker. There's no doubt about that.
Falling off that title race, aren't you? So.
Well, we keep falling over. We can't capitalise when Liverpool were falling over, but we'll see what happens. Big game tonight.
Frank, thank you very much for your time, and we'll speak soon.
Cheers, my old son.